earth is that? And what has he got to do with one of the most Art Deco toasters of all time? Stay tuned and you'll find out.
There's an old curiosity shop. Every once in a while I go by there for the fond recollections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm finally back. Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop. Welcome. It's Sunday afternoon. I have not yet taken my Christmas tree down, but a lot of you gave me so many compliments. You said it was so pretty and so warm and inviting. I thought, let's keep it up for another couple of days. Why not? So maybe it'll come down. It'll probably come down this week. We have a chilly rain here on the East Coast. I'm speaking to you right now from the city of Philadelphia, with my home state of New Jersey just across the river, 2 minutes away in that direction. And I hope you're doing well wherever you are and whatever you're doing this evening or this afternoon. Now I'm going to be, since we're going to be talking about Art Deco, I'm sipping some coffee out of a pattern you Deco fans are familiar with. Looks like it's very modern. Well, it was for its day. It's made by Anchor Hocking, and it is the Manhattan pattern, not to be confused with Park Avenue, which they released in the 1980s. So you can find this stuff in pink, but it's mostly collected in the crystal. So let's have a sip. And we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff today. I have a very small thrift haul. In fact, I think I only have maybe two or three things to show you that's sort of new in the Old Curiosity Shop for sale. So I think I'll do that first, and then after that, we're going to talk about Art Deco. This is not going to be a comprehensive history of the period or anything such as that, but I want to show you over the last several days, my goodness, the Art Deco has been jumping off of the shelves at me. So if you love the sleek design, the geometric design, the zigzags, the frozen waterfalls, all of that, the leaping gazelles, and mid-20s into the streamlined era, you're going to want to watch and see what's coming up. Why don't we begin first of all by showing a few things which are not Art Deco, but it's nice glassware, and as we take down the Christmas, we want to jazz it up with something. And I've got two beautiful crystal compotes. We'll use them for candy. I'm selling them separately, two different auctions. They both have silver overlay. Can you see? Now, the company that I think of most is the Silver City company. Is that right? I'm not an expert on that company or their wares. They may have, I think they might have produced some of their own glass, but they probably also, I think they also bought glass from other Depression-era glass companies and just did the decorating. So we'll look at both of them. They both are about 7 inches in diameter. I'll let you name what those flowers are. I always seem to get them wrong. Better pictures, of course, on the eBay site. Nice glass, no chips, no cracks. The silver's in great condition. I love clear glass, as I've said before, during the wintry snow and ice season. And then the second one, that's one auction. And we've got another one here. I almost get a New Martinsville feel on this blank, but I don't know. It's got a nice stem. And then, of course, the silver flowers here, which I realize you don't see very well in this particular light. You see there? So another nice candy dish. Now, I always manage to do this. I do a thrift haul and I say, all this is for sale right now in the Old Curiosity Shop. And then I always forget to list something. I forgot, but they're listed now. We already saw these Deco porcelain salt and pepper shakers, so they're in the shop. I promise you. How they slipped by. Let's do a quick book review. Two of my favorite go-to books, and they're very different from each other, but not too academic, not too scholarly, not that deep. And sometimes we just want sort of the popular history of Deco, and this is a book you've probably seen before if you're a fan of the era. Popular Art Deco. Gilman and Hyde, Robert Gilman and John Gilman and Robert Hyde. And this is published by the Abbeville Press. You can just go online and find it. This is going to be your everyday dime store, Woolworths, Murphy's, Grant's, Deco, and Modern for here in America, and of course in other countries, but none of that high-priced, expensive French Deco that was displayed in the 1925 exposition. Oh, those were luxury goods, and I can't go anywhere near that. And of course, when the Depression hit here in the US, around the world, no one was buying that, or very few folks. But we were watching Myrna Loy and Alice Faye, and you want to sit in front of your vanity and feel like a movie star? Well, you could go out and find a powder jar or a dresser lamp or some such thing, an old radio, and sort of take your mind off the Depression. So this book talks about history, but it also has color photographs. Look at that coffee pot, and radios, and Bakelite, and there's some pottery as well, and of course electric lamps, and the Scotty dog, and graphics, and textiles, and automobiles, and furniture. You'll go back to this book time and time again. It's a delight. And the other one that I enjoy a lot, this is a little more scholarly, but lots of wonderful photographs. This is called American Modernism, 1925 to 1940, designed for a new age by Stuart Johnson. I'll let you have a look at that. And this is the Abrams Press, I believe. And the photography in here is phenomenal. Let me see. Even the end pages, or whatever you call that. Take a look. Here's silverware. I'm not doing this correctly. You can tell I didn't work in a library for story time. You're going to get wonderful pictures of furniture, sleek. There's the, well, that's that looks like Manhattan, but it's not. That's Dreyfus, I think, is the one who, Teague, I'm sorry, designed that. Some Deco silverware. Here's textiles, lamps. Just let you go through quickly. Look at the dresser box. Things for the kitchen. Glassware, furniture. Oh my goodness. This. I would, can't tell you how much I'd love to own that. So I enjoy this book as well. Really, the photography in this is stunning, and quite a bit of interesting text in the front. American Modernism. I've got myself penned in here. I don't know how I'm going to get back to this fireplace without dumping my coffee. But I did it. What's for dinner on Sunday, everyone? I'm not going to tell you how my air fryer turned out last night. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I made broccoli and it dissolved. I pulled the thing out and it was just like sandpaper in there. So I've got to go back to the drawing board. I didn't follow the directions, of course, but next time I will. All right. So we'll revisit the air fryer. Let's not talk about it. Let's just not talk about it. Okay. Now, let's look at the Deco stuff that I have found recently. Here's a review. Some of this you've already seen, so we're going to go very fast. I waxed, polished up, and put new grill cloth. I think I showed this to you already. In my 1936 Feta, all original, Bakelite, no damage on this at all. I'm going to be doing the inner restoration at some point. I need to, of course, rip all the capacitors out and put a new line cord on it and such, but 1936 Feta in the brown Bakelite. Okay, and then you also saw, was it last week? It was in the thrift shop. And I have to show you the whole tea set, but there's the Mapoko made in Japan blue and white circles Art Deco. Again, I'm going quickly because you've seen these things, but I'm trying to wet your whistle for what's coming, for what you haven't seen. But all of this deco just in the last 2 weeks. And then of course the wonderful Foreman Brothers. I always get Foreman Brothers and Farberware. Foreman Brothers, made by Hall, and then Foreman did the chrome work there. The Chrysler pattern, again, the geometric designs, sleek design of the 1930s. Now, here's something you haven't seen. Well, not on this show. And this is for sale in the Old Curiosity Shop. Thank you, Elizabeth. My friend Elizabeth, who I called Margaret, but then I apologized and she said, don't worry, it's my middle name anyway. So she gave me these to sell. It's the Griffiths spice jars. 12 of them will fit on this rack. Now what's wonderful is, and I find this particularly interesting, we have very geometric Art Deco glass jars here. Yeah, is it showing up? What is that one? Mustard? Garlic salt. Papers on the back. But the plastic tray is streamlined. So a little bit of a transition. Very geometric here. At least the panels on the side of this glass. I wish I could get it to not be so glary. But very streamlined on this plastic holder. Now the plastic holder is sometimes missing. All right, so we only have 4 of these, and the lids have got some rust on them. Maybe you already have a collection of these, but you don't have the holder, or you'd like to start a collection. You can keep going and collect all 12. Right out of the 1940s kitchens. And this can be hung on the wall, or it can sit on a counter. So this is actually for sale, although I forgot to tell you that a minute ago. Now you got to see a hint of this in the car the other day, but that was before I cleaned it up. Woo! A percolator, and boy, I'll tell you what, you could serve coffee to everybody on the block out of this thing. I won't be using this on a daily basis because, oh my goodness, it must make 20 cups of coffee. Made by the LaBelle Silver Company in Brooklyn. There were a lot of chrome companies located in Brooklyn. Yes, there sure were. And you know, this was so modern for the era. But this percolator is in great condition, and I have already percolated. We'll look at this again in the kitchen some other time. Now, another company made, and these I bought just a little while ago. This is Chase, and this is the chrome orb, creamer and sugar with Bakelite handle. Okay, made by the Chase company, and I'm going to actually be using these, even though they're made by 2 different companies. They're dwarfed by the size of this coffee pot, but I think they look fantastic together. They both have the black Bakelite. Yeah, what do you think? And it was really exciting to find this sugar bowl and creamer with this lid. Now that can easily be lost, and very frequently is lost. This is also currently for sale in the Old Curiosity Shop. It could be made in Poland. It could be made right here in the US of A. It is a wonderful little dresser tray of glass. We always say Trinket Box. Yeah, put your rings and things in there at the end of the evening. You've danced all night in the grill room of the Taft Hotel. And now it's time to go to bed. You got to get up and go be a stenographer tomorrow morning. And this is fantastic. Now, look how geometric it is. It does have 2 chips. There's a little chip on the lid rim and a little chip on the base. And, you know, if you really get picky and rub your hands over this, you'll feel a little bit of roughness, but no like major chips These are the kind of chips that are felt more than seen, but I have to point out that they are there. But really, really not easy. There's one, but with the lid on, that little chip right there, you know, you really don't see that much. That would be nice on a dresser top. I'm not kidding you, that broccoli, it turned into frizzle. I know what I did. I did put the olive oil on it. I just cooked it too long and it just dissolved. So I had broccoli powder. It was a complete disaster. I'll go back to it again. Now, oh, I forgot. This is also listed for sale. This is heavy glass and it is a beautiful decanter. I don't know if it's crystal or not, but it sure feels like you could knock somebody out with it. Look at how deco this is. And I promise you, as I run my hands over this glass, I don't feel, and I think this is cut. This doesn't feel to be pressed. It is sharp as it can be. And I think it's hand cut here. Again, it could be Polish. There's lots of nice wear on the bottom, which you expect to see. So a wonderful old decanter in glass. Can you see that? I wish I knew who the maker was. You do a good search and you'll be able to find some little cordials or something to use with it, some type of little cocktail glass that's supposed to go with it. But it's not chipped, not cracked. Don't see any issues with it at all. And I just can't say enough about it. It's good quality. I mean, this thing weighs, 4 pounds with nothing in it. Very elegant, very elegant. Now, who was that strange looking man that I showed you at the beginning of the video? Well, he was an industrial designer named Raymond Patton, P-A-T-T-E-N. One of the industrial designers that I was not terribly familiar with as much as Teague and Dreyfus and so forth. But he's responsible for one of the best, greatest, sought-after, holy grail Art Deco toasters known to man, or woman, or child. And I'm going to show it to you in just a second. He started out, he's from Malden, Massachusetts. Went to Harvard University and MIT and did some automobile design work for Packard and some other companies. And then in the 1920s, somewhere around 1925, I guess, he goes and joins, now wait a minute before I wind up getting, I'm about to spill my casserole all over the floor. Then he goes and joins the General Electric Company, which GE has been around since, just before the turn of the century. And I think they were just in the news, weren't they, a few months ago? Well, General Electric, at this point, when this item was made, why don't I just go ahead and show it to you and then I'll keep talking. I'll let you salivate over this. It's a General Electric hot point. General Electric, I should say Edison General Electric, because J.P. Morgan and not Widener, Drexel. I always get the Wideners and the Drexels confused. Oh, those Philadelphia millionaires. Well, it was either a Widener or a Drexel. With J.P. Morgan, they financed a lot of Edison's electrical tinkering and interests in various companies. And so Edison is a part of GE at this time, soon to be dropped. So we actually see on the tag on this Edison General Electric. It's what's known as the Gazelle toaster. The leaping gazelle, a Art Deco motif that we see in jewelry, lamps, textiles, on architecture, and on toasters. And this comes on the scene 1930, 31, 32. Every reference that I have checked has given a different date. Even when you look, and these are in museums. They're in the Chicago Museum of Industrial Design. There's one in the Smithsonian. There's one in the Henry Ford Greenfield Village Museum. It's like the example of the Deco toaster, and everybody says a different date, 30, 31, 32, but somewhere around 1931, and it would have been made for a few years, and this is the toaster, and it will toast one slice of bread. We have steel covered in chrome, and we have molded Bakelite here at the base. And if we turn it this way, we see we will open up the little hatch, and put our piece of bread in there, or whatever you're toasting, and then we close it back up. Look how deco the handle is. So to operate the toaster, we want to set the toasting level right here, and it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I think it goes, H, I, J, K. In goes the bread, and then we're going to set the timer. Now it's not plugged in, thankfully, otherwise I would have toasted fingernails at this moment. So we hear the ticking of a clock, do we not? We sure do. And that's because down underneath of here is a very intricate clockwork mechanism made by the Lux Clock Company. Were they one of the ones up in Connecticut as well? I don't remember. So they made the clockwork, and in a second, this is going to go off. Now, there's no spring. The toast doesn't jump out. But we will hear this turn itself off, and we can then take out our slice of bread. Vast improvement from the toasters of just a few years earlier, where the filament, the heating element rather, is where the heating element is exposed, and you burn your fingertips, melt your Lee press-on nails, but not with this model. I'm trying to wait and let you hear it. Can you believe you're all sitting there listening to a toaster? Riveting entertainment. I know it would be more exciting if the bread were in it. See where it says hot point right there? Well, anyway, I love the little crumb drawer back here. Look at this. Isn't that sweet? You could hide the family jewels in there as well. And the backside is equally decorated. Zigzag Bakelite handles on either side. It's not very functional. Those handles are small. And these toasters heat up. You could heat a small bathroom with one of these things. Okay, it just went off. I don't know. I was running my mouth and you didn't hear it. Let's take a look. Look, original cord. Back in the day, these were selling for up to $500, $400, $500. Today, you can pick up one on eBay for $150 or above in good condition. Now, some of you, if you run to the net, you'll come back and you'll say, oh, but Scott, I saw one that sold for $70. I saw one that sold for $80. Aha, you got to read your descriptions and look at your pictures. You can't just look at auction results. I took this one apart, cleaned it, oiled the mechanism, and sort of did some restoration work on it, and it's completely functional. There's no damage at all. So this is one that's going to sell in the 150 above range. The ones in bad condition will not. Now, when I say bad condition, you may remember I already showed you one of those last summer. Here's another one. This is the one that I bought in the summertime in horrible condition. And I paid $20 and I bought this for parts. And I needed it because the nice one that you see down there was missing a handle. This was missing a handle. So I took the one good handle off of this, which is the junk machine. There's the clockwork mechanism underneath, which is rusted and not functioning. This one has a cracked Bakelite base, which we can see right there. And so a little bit of pitting in the chrome. So this one I'm actually going to just be selling for parts. I've already got that listed. It does kind of make a nice display if you want a non-functioning toaster. But who wants that, right? So, boy, was I glad I found that last summer for $20. It sure has come in handy. The fine example, I paid $40, which, no, I'm sorry, it came down to about $34. Here's a photograph of an advertisement of this toaster. And it was probably introduced originally in the fall of 1931. It actually retailed for $7.95. Figure out how much that would cost today. 1931, $7.95. That's what, close to $150 today, I suppose? That toaster. Now, that design is not very functional. What happens just a few years later, in 1939? Just a few years later, toasters look like this. This is the great 1939 Trilon and Perisphere toaster, Sunbeam. Is it a sun? I think this is Sunbeam, isn't it? This is Sunbeam or Universal? It's Sunbeam. Ooh, did I just... Sunbeam toaster. Look at how we go from the earlier model. Now notice the difference. All right? Very geometric, not very functional, but fascinating design. This one, so much easier to clean. Streamlined, we just take a damp cloth and run over this and you're ready to go. Now I love both of these toasters. This one is a pop-up toaster and from 1939. So, and you can obviously do two pieces of bread in it. So this is my go-to toaster. This is the one that really sits out and gets used on a regular basis. But there's going to be some competition now that I have that wonderful gazelle thing. Now let's take a look at two pieces of men's clothing, two neckties. Here's one that I found, actually it's been a while ago now, and it was brand new in the box, in the gift box, and I don't believe it was ever worn. It's a silk tie, actually it's a linen tie. Well, no, I believe this is a silk tie, or a blend. There's no tag on it, so I don't know the maker of this one. But this is a typical men's tie from the very early age of modern design in the US. Of course, the modern design came slow here in this country as it originated in Europe, and we really didn't get involved in too much until after the exhibition, which we did not go to. Thank you, Herbert Hoover. That's another story. But this is, I have not worn it, and I promised you a few months ago that I would. So I guess I better keep my promise and get my necktie. Anyway, to show you, here's another one that I just recently found. This is silk and probably goes up into a little bit later into the 1930s. You'll sometimes see these referred to as jazz age ties or big band ties. And this type of geometric abstract design hung around in men's ties well into the 1930s. And it's just a beautiful silk tie in really good condition. I don't see any gravy on it. And that's one that I can certainly wear. That just came from the Goodwill as well. Also, not really deco, but boy, does it fit into the era. Now hold on to the arms of your Naugahyde recliner, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. She's all ready to go out. She's put rouge on her knees because she rolled her stockings down. Her mother didn't see her do that. She's a vamp, she's a flapper. She's gentle and mental and nearly complete. She's knockout, she's regal, her beauty is illegal. Now, what musical did that little bit of lyric come from? I'm not going to tell you. Wow, glass beads, all in red. No mesh on that. The original chain, little acorn handles here on the top, or whatever they are. Now it's missing its lining, so I'm not selling this yet. I'm going to have this lining restored. And we need to do a little bit of restoration work back here on this side where there might be 1 or 2 glass beads missing. So I'm going to have someone do some repair work on that. But this was $15. And glass beads rather than the wire mesh. A lot of these beads at this point are being made in Czechoslovakia and brought into the United States for lampshades, women's clothing, dresses, and of course these types of purses. Isn't that wonderful? I just thought you'd like to see that, you pocketbook collectors. I've got 2 more things to show you, and that's it. It's been a long video. It's even gotten darker in here, and I've burnt 3 or 4. Probably going to be dinner time soon. 2 more things to show you. Let's do this bad boy first. This came from an antique store when I was in Quakertown, and it was very inexpensive, well under $50. In fact, it was under $40. And I snatched it right up. Didn't even ask for a discount. What is it? Now, I know some of you have already said, oh, Sky, there's nothing Art Deco about that. Well, take a look at the flowers. Okay, they're painted on there, they're stylized, and I would agree. It's a 1920s interpretation of a floral design, so it's certainly not Art Deco. Well, it's a magazine rack, we know that. And from here on down, doesn't it remind you of that Martha Washington sewing stand that all of your grandmothers had? Well, in the 20s, these magazine stands are high on legs. Once we get into the streamlined 1930s and 40s, these legs disappear, right? And all we see is this, which actually sits on the floor. So, not a whole lot that's Art Deco about this until we turn it around. Turn around, everybody, and all of a sudden, we have this wonderful abstract geometric Art Deco design. Original paint. You have to be a fan of the 30s design to flip out over that. Just look at it. The colors are vibrant. There's not a scratch on it. The paint on the handle, the yellow on the legs here, and the stretcher in green. It's fantastic. Now, I don't know why we're just sort of frumpy-dumpy 1920s flowers on this time, but when we go on this side, we are modern, stepping out tonight. Wow. I couldn't believe this. I have seen these magazine stands often. A lot of times, the typical 1930s looking galleon sort of sailing ship is painted on there, and most of the time it's either that or a floral design or some type of Spanish revival type thing. But this Art Deco design that you see here, boy, that is modern, and it would have been shocking in the 1920s. Maybe that's why when your mother-in-law comes over, that side. When the chic couple from the upstairs apartment come over, we flip it over to that side. You know, this is all about keeping in style for the era. Unbelievable. Now take a look at a picture. Here's another magazine stand with its original paint from the same era. And then, of course, this one here is one in mahogany. You notice no legs, no paint, and very much what these magazine stands turned into in the 1930s and 40s. Yeah. That magazine stand is outstanding. And finally, the very last item that I found, and I was just in the thrift store the day that we had all that snow, and I said, well, I'm gonna go and just see what happens. I might not find anything, but there might not be a lot of competition. I didn't find a whole lot in the store. I went back to the lamp department, nothing on the shelf with the lamps. So I turned to go out, but two people were in my way. And I have shopping cart rage. When I'm trying to get out of a store, I'm trying to get out of a store. And I couldn't get down that aisle, so I turned and went down another. Aren't I glad I turned and went down another aisle, because look at what I found. Have you seen this lamp before? Look at this. We'll start at the bottom. The base is pot metal. It has a patina that's coming off. Big deal. That can be restored. In the center is a wonderful piece of pottery with this terrific graphic on here. We have the nude female, which we see all the time. It's the classical nude female, but she's been modernized. She's been updated. She has a modern hairstyle. Her figure is much more linear, and she looks like she's from the 20s rather than the female figures that we see, the more buxom type female figures with the hair all, coiffed on top of their head from the Art Nouveau era. Now it's sleek. And of course, there's that leaping gazelle again. Yeah. She's always running around with no clothes on, and I don't know why, but okay. So, and this is pottery. And it's sort of in an antique ivory color, and it's the same on the back. This is all original. Even the harp, look at this iron harp, which is all original. No finial, but I've got some old finials I can use. Of course, I have to rewire it and fix the socket and all of that. I have seen this somewhere in one of my Art Deco books, and I cannot remember where I've seen it. I would love to be able to track down who the designer is. It's probably one of the known designers from some major company, and I'm guessing here in the USA. If anybody knows, I'd love to know. Won't this be fantastic with a proper Art Deco style shade on it? This was, I saved the price tag because you wouldn't believe me. I'm telling you, this is a $100 lamp. I know that it is. And that's what it was. It was $9.99 at the thrift shop. One of the thrift shops here in Philadelphia. No chips, no cracks. I could not believe it. So everyone, I want to thank you for watching. Remember, some of the things that you saw are available right now in the Old Curiosity Shop. And if you'd like to check it out, you can go to the description box below this video. Also, if you get a chance, research the internet and see if you can get one of those books or both of those books. They're wonderful references. And I hope you enjoyed this little trip back into the late 1920s into the 1930s. It was a lot of fun for me to bring it to you. I'm going to go put another log on the fire, give that air fryer another whirl, and I'll let you know how I make out sometime next week or this week, whatever it is. Yeah, this is Sunday, so Monday or Tuesday I'll be back. That's all for now. I'm Scott saying thanks for watching. Wait for the cat. And so long for now.